eSIM Studios YouTube and mobile app. The eSIM Studios YouTube channel offers the very best technology news and reviews with in-depth coverage found nowhere else. Hosted by founder and creator, Taylor Bell. He's a really good dude, college educated, and worked inside the industry. He knows what he is talking about. The eSIM Studios mobile app is an experience unlike any other tech app, with an easy-to-use interface view, late-breaking tech news from all over the industry, and so much more. The eSIMstudios.app also includes the unlocker. Learn to unlock phones from the professionals for free. The clean and intuitive layout, finding breaking news articles and deals in tech has never been easier. Watch and listen to the eSIM Studios YouTube channel and podcast from within the app. Additional features include easy Gcam download and installation, the Android Flash tool, and sign up for our weekly giveaway drawing. Download the eSIM Studios mobile app at eSIMstudios.app and find us on YouTube by simply searching eSIM Studios.
You got that iPhone 15, I get the phone to nothing. Think you cool with iOS18. Android had those features back in 2018. Your little Mac M3 CPU is sweet. It can't beat my Snapdragon X Elite. iPhone stuck on same design for years. Nothing but the OnePlus Pixel have you crying tears. To nothing. Think you're cool with iOS18. Android had those features back in 2018. Your little Mac M3 CPU is sweet. It can't beat my Snapdragon X Elite. iPhone stuck on same design for years. Nothing but the OnePlus Pixel have you crying tears. M3 CPU is sweet. It can't beat my Snapdragon X Elite. iPhone stuck on same design for years. Nothing but the OnePlus Pixel have you crying tears. You got that iPhone 15. I got that phone to nothing. Think you're cool with iOS18. Android had those features back in 2018. Your little Mac M3 CPU is sweet. It can't beat my Snapdragon X Elite. iPhone stuck on same design for years. Nothing but the OnePlus Pixel have you crying tears. M3 CPU is sweet. It can't beat my Snapdragon X Elite. iPhone stuck on same design for years. Nothing but the OnePlus Pixel have you crying tears. You got that iPhone 15. I got that phone to nothing.
off the G5 jet. I'm on my way to a brand new kit. Yeah. Woo.
I just need my space right now.
Fresh off the G5 jet. I'm on my way to a brand new kit.
All right, welcome back. eSIM Studios podcast, live stream, episode 163. Thank you for joining me today. I do appreciate it. We are a little delayed. It's quite fitting because that is our main story for today. StreamYard still having issues, so I do apologize for that. I want to thank everybody for joining us today, and will be a rather quick one. I doubt we'll hit our 1 hour limit today. I got some other stuff to do with the other YouTube channels. Pardon me, but if you miss this, perhaps you can always catch us on the replay. eSIM Studios YouTube channel will have the replay, and then you can always take us on the go, right? So you can get the eSIM Studios podcast on any podcast platform. So whether you get your listen to your podcast on Apple Podcast, the application Pocket Casts, also Amazon Music, YouTube Music, iHeartRadio app. Any place you listen to podcasts, go up to the search icon and type in eSIM Studios. Or if all else fails, just simply go to Google and type in eSIM Studios. We are all over Google, and you'll find us on a platform that you can watch and or listen to us too, right? I wanted to get into, and I want to thank you for joining us. Appreciate it, Brian. Hello, good afternoon. I want to get into, so we have Apple news and we have Samsung news. So let's get into the headline, right? Let me share our screen here. If you go over, I got the story over on eSIMstudios.app. That is our tech news website. If it involves tech, it involves eSIM Studios, and I've encompassed all things tech at eSIMstudios.app. That is our eSIM Studios app. You can go find us there. You can actually watch and or listen to the podcast there. Now, you can also, if you're interested, if you need a new phone, we do have some phones for sale on eSIMstudios.store, at our eSIM Studios store. That is correct. I am gathering some more phones at the moment, but we do have some up there for sale, right? Let me pull up, sending out a notification on our eSIM Studios app right now for everybody that has subscribed to it. It's quite easy. You just go to eSIMstudios.app, and after about 30 seconds, you will get a notification that that you can install it on your home screen, and you simply install it on your home screen, and then it's called a progressive web app. It's an application just like any others. Actually, it's better and it's safer than the ones on the app stores. And you can do everything from there. You can actually, again, watch our YouTube channel inside the web app. We update it in the background, so you don't even have to go to the Play Store or your App Store to update it. We do it all on our end. So I just sent out the notifications. Let's get into what is going on with Apple. We mentioned yesterday that they're having some issues with AI. Not only is Apple having issues with AI, the entity and or company that they partnered with is having issues with AI and or financial issues. We touched on the story yesterday. Where is it at? Let me pull it up. Right here. And this ties into our story today, and I think it directly correlates to the reason why Apple's having issues with AI. Back in 2023, so last year, no other company purchased more tech startup companies. Let me correct that. No one company, meaning Apple, purchased more AI startup companies than Apple did. Apple purchased 33 tech/AI startup companies. Now, why did they do that? Well, they're trying to implement AI into iPhone, into iPad, into Mac OS, into their operating system, iOS. Does not look like a smooth addition. This is largely delayed. When they initially announced it, it should have been on iPhones already. We did get a hard estimate date and time of iOS 18, which will be coming out in September with the brand new iPhone 16 models. It appears That is going to be delayed. So they are bumping that back. And that's coming off of the news of this. That the story we hit on yesterday. OpenAI is on the verge of bankruptcy. Now, you can listen to our podcast yesterday. I'm not going to, or watch it. I'm not going to get into all the details. It would just be repeating. But essentially, OpenAI, who owns ChatGPT, as you know, they are implementing that into Siri, into search, into iPhone, into iOS. Apple fleeced OpenAI in this deal. OpenAI is getting $0 from this deal. $0 from making a ginormous deal with the biggest company in the world, in the history of the world, Apple. The biggest tech giant of them all, they get $0. Essentially, Apple told OpenAI, hey, it's good for exposure, right? Get your name out there. And OpenAI took the deal. It's a catch-22 because, yeah, you get exposure, but they're spending more money with the upkeep of their servers in the data centers for ChatGPT than they are bringing in. So they're spending on average $700,000 per day just to upkeep ChatGPT. They spent $7 billion last year just with the upkeep of their servers, and they only, I think, received, what was it, $7 billion on their training their AI models, right? And they only brought in $3.5 billion in revenue. So that's a complete upside down, huge in the red indicator, and things have not gotten better. So you're going to go, how many more years are you going to go belly up like that? Not too much longer. So here's the issue. Here, that's what ties into our today's story. So Apple Intelligence is going to miss the launch. I think this directly ties into this story, today's story, because I'm not sure I think Apple might be second guessing themselves. Do you want to be tied to a company that is going to go bankrupt? Do you want to now, can they still operate? Sure, OpenAI. But is that going to interrupt and interfere with service on people's iPhones next year? Let's say whenever it does launch on the market infused with iPhone and iOS, is it only going to work for 3 to 4 months and then it's going to crash because they file for bankruptcy, or somebody buys them out and then changes their whole AI model? So I think this is why Apple made this announcement. I think it has them second guessing the deal with OpenAI. It's just a guess, but where there's smoke, there's fire, right? You can put two and two together. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out, right? So there is a delayed arrival. So here's the points of this story. Apple Intelligence was initially expected to debut alongside or infused with iOS 18 and iPad OS 18 this September, in just a couple of months. Now Apple's decided to postpone the launch of Apple AI, aiming for a subsequent update to the new operating system. The AI features are now slated to arrive a few weeks after the initial iOS 18 and iPad iOS 18 releases for September. So they've delayed the launch of their initial Apple Intelligence feature in September, and they didn't really put a date on when they can expect it. They said in the future, which means basically they don't know. They're just saying that for PR reasons, for to put it out there in the public, meaning like, oh, we'll have it soon, don't worry. But I think behind the scenes, they're holding their heads like, oh my God, what do we do? I think that's what's going on. Despite the delay for the consumers, Apple is taking an atypical approach by making Apple Intelligence available to software developers for early testing. So it is available for developers to continue to test and continue to develop applications, but for the general public, it is put on the back shelf, put on the back burner. As I mentioned here, the stakes are very, very high for Apple. The success of its AI features, it does rely on the AI and the applications it can make with that AI, right? That's a lot of the reason why iPhone took off. I know probably some viewers are not old enough to remember. When iPhone first launched, and I am, unfortunately, when Apple first launched the iPhone, they put all their eggs in one basket. They put all their eggs in the apps basket, right? There was an old saying, there was a long string of marketing and advertising commercials that basically went by the moniker, there's an app for that. There's an app for that. There's an app for that. Oh, yeah, I can't do this. I can't do that. There's an app for that. They basically rode that there's an app for that train for probably a good 3, 4, 5 years. I mean, that's what really launched. In fact, Android, in the beginning, when Apple and Android first launched operating systems, and in the early days of the phones, Apple was far and away better operating system simply because they had better applications. Now, Android's caught up, obviously, and it's probably neck and neck, but that's what drew a lot of people to iPhone. So it's imperative that they get this AI thing right. Do I blame them for kind of where they're at in this mess? Kind of yes and no, right? They could have done something about it sooner. They always tend to sit back, take a deep breath, and then put forward a product to the public. And it's usually pretty good. It's very clear to me they have no idea. I shouldn't say no idea. It's very clear to me they're unsure of the AI and the models they want to run on and how to implement that into iPhone. Them purchasing the most AI startup companies out of any company last year. Again, they purchased 33 tech startups last year, AI startups. It tells me they're just kind of shooting in the wind, hoping to catch something that'll catch on. Now, the obvious, if this deal falls through with OpenAI and ChatGPT, the obvious thing would be to lean on your competitors and partners, weird kind of relationship, with Google. There were negotiations before they landed OpenAI. There were negotiations with Google to infuse Google Gemini into parts of the iPhone. Now, I'm kind of glad they didn't, because currently, I mentioned yesterday, Google's getting sued by the federal government for monopoly. In the more Google steps away from these big partnerships and big deals, at least for a little while, the better, right? Because the last thing Google wants is their company to be ripped apart, broken up. And that's what the government's trying to do, saying you are too big, you're in too many spaces of your niche, of the technology, right? So what do? I don't know what OpenAI is going to do. It does not look good. It just simply does not look good. I was going to say, I'm trying to think of there's no easy way out. You're going to have to rework something. And I know Apple does not want to pair themselves with a company that's going bankrupt. Not a good look. And again, they don't want it to mess up their operating system, right? What if 6 months into launching this, out of the blue, one day, all the AI features, just none of them work on any iOS device around the world? It's going to create a big issue for Apple. And I think, again, that's that's front and center on their mind. And again, this is what's causing the delay. They haven't said that, but I personally believe that's what's causing the delay. Is they're like, holy shit, what do we do? I'm sure they're reviewing all their options. I'm sure they're who knows what that contract says. Is there an out? I'm sure they have to pay some money to get out early. And maybe that's what they're going to do. Look, I'm not too worried. If you're an iPhone user, I wouldn't be bummed out by this. With all the devices I have, Android devices that I have that have AI in it, it's not, I can easily live without it. In fact, I do. I rarely use many of the AI features. In fact, the one I do use the most is a summary, right? Like summarize long articles, and that's about it. But I mean, it's pretty basic. But with all this photo editing and all this photo generation and all this stuff, I don't use that stuff on my phone. And I think the average person's kind of the same way. I haven't really come across many people that absolutely love AI on their phone. Everybody's like kind of like, it's all right. I mean, I think most people are kind of sick of the word anyways. So, in my opinion, Apple, I believe, take as much time as you need. Some of that stuff looks cool, but again, we're not using it every day. So, in my opinion, take your time. It looks like it looked like for a minute y'all got over on OpenAI with this deal, but from their financial woes, it doesn't look like it's a bright future for OpenAI and or ChatGPT. So Apple, take your time, do what you need to do, rework some stuff, go try to make a deal with Perplexity, go try to make a deal with some of these other. I know y'all hate Meta and Apple hate each other, right? But Meta has one of the better AI models out there. You know, they invested tons and tons of time, billions of dollars into their AI model, and it's great. So I doubt they'll partner with Meta. They hate each other. The two companies absolutely hate each other. And I don't want to see them go to Google because it's going to be another strike against Google in the lawsuit versus the United States. So I believe they need to find a second tier, even third tier AI company. Again, Perplexity. If you haven't used them, it's actually a rather useful AI tool. It came pre-installed on one of my Nothing phones. I used it for a month when I had my free service and never used it again. I think that would work great. It's along the same lines as all these others, right? But I think Apple, just take your time. Everybody gives Apple the benefit of the doubt because y'all have had so much success. So, take your time, get it right. And that's what Nothing is doing. There is not a phone 3 launch this year. Why? Simply because Nothing and Carl Pei believe it's just not ready. So why put out a product, a model to the public if it's just simply not ready? It's okay. When you bring stuff to the market, just make sure it's a good product, whether it's software or hardware, right? It's okay. People will be here when it's ready, and we will buy them. At least I will. Okay. So what is included in Apple Intelligence? So what does this impact? Apple Intelligence has a range of features, including prioritization of key notifications, web page and voice note summaries. That's the one that I use. Tools to improve writing, a revamp to Siri, so basically a smart Siri, integration to OpenAI's ChatGPT, right? Now, looking ahead, Apple's commitment to AI remains strong, and the delay is likely a strategic move to ensure a successful rollout. As the company continues development, users can anticipate a more refined and robust AI experience in future updates. While the initial iPhone 16 models shipped to consumers this year may lack the new AI features, Apple's dedication to enhancing Siri and integrating advanced AI capabilities remains a focal point for the tech giant. We will see where this goes. I will keep an eye on this story, not only from Apple's perspective, but keep you up to date on the OpenAI saga when it comes to them filing for bankruptcy. What does that mean? Is Elon Musk? I was thinking last night, what if they file for bankruptcy? Now, it depends on what chapter, right? But what if Elon Musk swoops in, buys the company for pennies on the dollar, and then screws Apple? Because I think if they go bankrupt and another entity or another person or company comes in and buys that OpenAI, that has to void the deal. I mean, I'm sure that's pretty common. That's pretty common content in these negotiations, in these legal documents. Look, if you go bankrupt and or another company, person, entity comes in and buys a majority share of the company, the deal is null and void. So that would cancel this deal with Apple. And then, because look, Elon Musk does not like Apple either. It's out there. It's public knowledge. So I think he might come in because he started OpenAI and sold his shares before it got real popular. What if he comes back in, buys a large majority of the share or the whole thing on pennies on the dollar, and then tells Apple, screw you? He would. That would screw Apple up totally. I mean, they would be dumbfounded and left scrambling to figure out what to do next. Now, I'm sure they're doing that right now, right this second, just in case that happens. Because that's what they do. They plan out, they think of every single scenario that could happen, and then they make a plan for each scenario. Okay, if this happens, we do this. If this happens, we do this. If that happens, we do this. Just so they can be prepared and not caught off guard. So, look, when you have a big company like Apple, and you have billions upon billions of dollars in revenue, you can afford to hire the best and or contract hire, basically pay the best people in the world to do this, right? There's people that just do strategic business advantages, strategic business moves, planning. I'm sure they're working the grid, meaning all options are on the table. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes. I'm definitely going to keep an eye on this. And it'll impact a lot of people. I mean, if you're an iPhone user, it'll change the way you operate your phone in the future. So this will encompass a lot of people. But we will keep our eye on this. Now, something else that has to do with Apple, iOS. Check this out. So Samsung One UI 7 might look a little similar to iOS. Now, if you're wondering what that is, the update's going to be coming soon. Now, they're changing. We're going to get into this a little later. I'm going to get out of here early. I'll probably get into this more detailed tomorrow, right? What it looks like. There are some leaks out there. There is an article on my website, eSIMstudios.app. You can go check out. It's going to be a major overhaul, right? So One UI 5.0 to version 6.0. Some differences, mainly notifications, mainly behind the scenes. But this One UI 6 moving into One UI 7 a little later this year, major overhaul as far as the aesthetics, as far as visually the way it looks. And look, people are going to call Samsung out now for copying Apple, right? Because it was the AirPods with the buds. There was something else I can't remember. Anyways, there's this. Now, I mean, it's not gonna be identical to iOS, but you're gonna see some similarities, and I broke it down in this article right here. So I was just about to get into it, and then I realized I got to get out of here. So come back tomorrow, and we can discuss this tomorrow. I do apologize, I can't get through everybody's comments, but come back tomorrow and we can discuss this some more. I just had a little window of time that I could go live, and I jumped right on it. So appreciate y'all joining me. Same time, same place tomorrow. I'm gonna try to do these earlier. I mean, I don't know, middays, early afternoon. So I'll let y'all know. Stay subscribe to the channel. I'll let you know. Probably go live around 2 or 3 tomorrow, PM Central Standard Time. Peace out.